Dear students, good evening. I believe that everybody is present there and you are able to hear my voice. Is it okay? So is it audible to everybody? If anybody is having any constraints, please reply. So we will be covering this module 5. And of course, dear students, it was true that we could have passed through various modules, but we couldn't able to record it. But yesterday, I got the information is that we have to record all the slides as per the angle that if we are going for a NBA. So that's why anyhow, since we have started from this particular sessions, and of course, whatever we have missed for the remaining, we will do that one by tomorrow. So that is how we are planning for it. So today we are going to discuss about the module 5, and module 5 speciality is that it talks basically a theoretical angle. But what exactly in the theoretical angle it talks about? If you try to see on my slide, I have made a 3 links. This link was just 10 to 15 minutes back. It was finished. In the afternoon, I tried it in the. So this entire it covers in the entire models. However, as a part of the discussions, we are preparing in a different formats. Now, this particular model, it talks about all the input-output devices. It talks about how we are to manage these input-output devices. That is the important. That is why we are using a word management. And not only that one, it also talks about what are the way we should able to use the input-output devices. So that is how this particular discussion is being put across. So let's go straight away to our point of discussions with respect to the very first slide. The very first slide, it talks about the input-output management, where you can able to see this one is that a CPU is being shown there. Let me take this spotlight. So a CPU is being shown over here, and which is associated to the memory. And when we talk about this memory, you have to understand that all type of memory is coming. Whether we talk about a primary memory, secondary memory, or a SATA hard disk, or in whichever form. And this is nothing but the input devices, and this is nothing but the output devices. So when we talk about the CPU, what exactly the CPU is? What exactly the CPU means? The CPU is basically consisting of 4 parts. What are those 4 parts you have studied in your microprocessor? That means the CPU consists of a control unit. It has an execution unit. It has a registers. It has a flags. All these things are coming together. So when we talk about a control unit, what it is doing, it try to actually retrieve whatever the instructions we are giving, and it try to decode it. That is of the instructions. Basically, it is doing with the control unit, and even it tries to retrieve, and it try to store the data in the memory. So this is what does in the with the CPU. Not only this one, the CPU even does the executions, actual executions based on the instructions that we are putting for giving to the program, so that based on the program, whatever the instruction it has to carry out, and how that instruction is coming and going in the form of a job or in the form of a process. So when a process comes, what it has to do, that instruction the CPU will be doing in the form of retrieving and decoding. Now there are registers. There are several different type of registers inside the CPU. Now, if you try to remember, we have a registers inside the CPU, just like a general purpose registers. We have a segment registers. We have even a control registers. We have even a interrupt registers or instruction pointer register. Like that, there are several registers are existing inside this CPU. Now, when we talk about control registers, what general purpose register, what exactly it does doing? General purpose register is basically, it is to store the a temporary data. That is what exactly it does in this case. And what about segment register is doing? Segment register means where your program is containing a data, and that data you are using for storing and in the form of a stack, and then you want to retrieve it back. All this thing is carried out under the segment registers. So there is another register is there which used to control or a control register. What exactly it is doing? It is all the behaviors, like if an input device is interrupting. Yesterday we have a day before yesterday we have seen that slide with respect to when an interrupt comes, what exactly happens. So yesterday we have discussed this one. Interrupt happens, what happens if the CPU is running, then we can go back to ready state. All these things, all this behavior is happening with respect to control registers. Yeah, and even if you want to switch from one address to another, all this thing is happening in this one. Now, there is another instruction register or a pointer register, which is to point the various programs that you write it, all these things. So here you see all this thing is the CPU has to perform. And yesterday we have seen the resource management, all the different form of a resource the operating system is doing. Operating system is commanding through whom? Through this CPU to perform. Here the CPU is the main person who is doing these activities, but who is instructing? Operating system. So when you see the management of everything, management is done by the operating systems, but CPU we are only putting, we are hiding the operating system terms, because this is a physical device that used to carry out, whether when you talk about a 0 and 1 bit, but then we talk about a flag, all these things. How it is happening? It is happening through the hardware. So that hardware control is being monitored through CPU, but the instruction is being handled by the management, and the instruction is handled by the operating systems. However, we put the term as a CPU here. So here, when we talk about this particular CPU, input device, memory, and output device. So all this activity, whenever the data is given through to CPU via memory, from CPU back to the output device through these informations, all these things is a part of the input-output management. So here, when we see this one, there is an input is there is an output device is there, and what the input device is, the input device, when we talk about the input device, it's a hardware. And what it does, input device transfer the data. Where it transfer the data, it is transferring to the CPU. And what is this data? Data may be in the form of a text or a graphics, or maybe in the form of a audio, or maybe in the form of some other. And it is being processed and it is displayed in the output device. Now, when you talk about this output may be relevant to this one. That's why it is given, resulting to processing in a human acceptable form. Means whatever you are giving, the output is being processed. So here, one thing you have to see that whenever this particular activity is taking place, then the large amount of a data is actually being processed from here. So that's why there is always a problem for the CPU. Problem for the CPU, not only, there is a problem for the memory also. CPU is one side, it is having a problem, and a memory. But however, we will be talking about some solution for the CPU, some solution for the memory in a generalized way, so that we can see that how this topic and how this topic is finally taking a trend. Now we go to the this area. Now, dear students, you have a note with you, so you can refer to the note also, so that you can whatever I am stating. So it will be easy for you to also catch up because it is relevant to that one. You can go to page number 137. If you go to the page number 137, module 5 input output management is, you can see there. Now, we are going to talk about a classification of a device. When we talk about a classification of a device, classification of a device means how the devices are being classified. So here, the classification of a device is being categorized into human readable forms, machine readable form, and communications. That means how the human read it, how the machine read it, how the communication take place. That means input, and this is the hardware, and this is the connection to the outside world. So this is how these devices are put across. So if you see the across, you will find the point of a discussion is that the human readable forms. So human readable form means the it is used to communicate with the user. That is what it is. So the user want to communicate through this phase. So how the human or the user will communicate, because it has to communicate with the CPU. So how does it will communicate? It will communicate through keyboard. It will communicate through mouse. It will communicate through the output printer. It will communicate through the output display board. But every communication, if you try to see that the video display is having a 50 Mbps is the speed. And when we talk about a keyboard, it is having a 10 bits per second, very small. Just see, mouse 50 Mbps, printer 4 Mbps. Now, as the Mbps increases, you will find that the system or the hardware structure is getting more and more complex. So if you that is what the here it means. And just above that one, you see that one, there is a thing is written, a CPU versus input output speed. A multiprocessing CPU on the same chip or the speed continue to increase the input output and interaction. That means if the CPU is your CPU is having a multi-core or a multi-processing, then it can able to communicate with the input output devices. So a large amount of a data, and then it can able to process. That is what. Now come to the next. Next is nothing but a machine readable. Machine readable means that machine can able to read it. That means used to communicate with the electronic equipment. That means this is the CPU sections. This is user, this is CPU. The CPU can communicate with all the drivers, disk driver, tape driver, USB driver, controller, that is a hard floppy disk, magnetic optical disk, then actuator, all these things. Then internal parts, wherever whatever parts you are putting across. Say for example, you are using a for the game, the additional driver you are using, so that you can able to see the video clarity. So all this driver is coming under the machine data. Third is nothing but a networking. That is a communications. It used to communicate with the remote devices. Like you are having a modem, you are having a Ethernet, you are having a ATM network, all these things. Now, if you see, if you go to the ATM network, communication device, the bits per second is in terms of a megabits per second, and the machine readable, that is also megabits per second. But here it is in a bits or in a kilobytes per second, kbps per second. So that's how only if you are talking about a 50 Mbps, that is the only one. So these are nothing but a communication device. Now here, under the classification, the device, it has to classify in terms of a speed, that is a data transfer rate. That is one side is that. So the keyboard speed and graphic speed, it is two different speed is there. Keyboard is lesser speed, graphic is a much faster speed. Applications. So you are using that you are using for the various applications, the devices. Say for example, you are using for storing the files. you can store directly to the secondary memory, or you can store it to the primary memory, or you can take the help of the primary memory, or you can take the help of a virtual memory. All these things, activities is done under the case of this classification of devices. So so who carries out these activities? It's the operating system. And who configure the operating system? The person who is configuring, that is a system administrator who is configuring the devices, that the selection of all the activities, it is being configured at the time of the installations. Then next is the unit of transfer. The unit of transfer, sorry, complexity of control. That means if you are having a keyboard, I told you, lesser control. But if you are using a scanner, it is more complex. So as the complexity increases, then the device classification changes, because CPU has to perform more work with respect to the complex devices. So next is unit of transfer. So it is in terms of a bytes or in terms of a bits, everything is being carried out, but it is a stream of, it is in the form of a stream. So that's why a stream of bytes is used to carry out this particular transfer. And that also in terms of a block or a packet. Data representations. Data representations is nothing but we are using the zeros and one. That is what it is, a instruction that we write it, whether you write it in a high level language or a mnemonics, whatever it may be. Error management. Error management is very important. The operating system is to look for the whatever error is there, then it tries to see that that can be able to recover. Then program or a pooled input. Program and a pooled input is nothing but whenever you are writing a program and you want to have a number of time the inputs to be used by the particular program. So you will be taking a pool of inputs and that and related to that function. So all these activities is a part of a classification of these devices. So so it will be making a it will when the number of repeated instructions, a repeated section of a subrouting if you are using, or number of time the same pool input has to use, then this particular what you call that the instructions analysis and the instruction follow-up has to be carried out under the class of these devices. Next, interrupt. Whenever you are using an interrupt from the input devices, then accordingly the devices should be able to know what to do, whether it has to suspend the CPU or if not, what it has to do, or whether it has to go back to the ready state, like that. Then finally, direct memory access, that is a DMA. DMA is nothing but, what is DMA? DMA is nothing but, say for example, a CPU is running, and at that time CPU want to do some other work, and at the same time it has come in, input output. So taking an input, sending an output, if the CPU is only looking, the CPU cannot do. So for that purpose, CPU has another assistance. So that assistant name is DMA. So that DMA will do that work, input and output. So CPU can do other work. So that's why the CPU can relinquish the activities to the DMA, so that DMA carry out. So all these activities coming under this class. Okay. Now comes to the next, data rate. So whatever I had told, you see this keyboard, data speed is very low, mouse is little high, modem still high. And you see the difference between floppy disk and optical disk. Floppy disk is only having a data speed up to how much? Nearly 10 to the power of 6 bits per second. But optical 6, it is close to 10 to the power of 6. Now you see hard disk, it is still go. So like that, the distribution is the Ethernet cable. If it is a CAT 10, so that's, it shows up 10 to the power of 9 bits per second. So that's how it is being distributed. Okay. Now we go to the another area. Now, if you see across this particular case, what you can see this particular case consisting of a computer or a PLC. What is PLC? PLC stands for Programmable Logic Controller. So what PLC is going to do here is that the PLC is going to control some of the inputs which is from the external to the central processor unit, and also it is from the going to deliver the output to the outside world, that is the output devices. So if you see here input devices coming from the external to the processor, but it will be passing through the interface only. This interface has to, interface will try to see which type of protocol it is following. Is this protocol match with the protocol of the processor? Then it will accept. Similarly, output device, once the processor is delivering the output, this will see that this is given to the output devices. If the output device accept it, then it will acknowledge it back and that given to the processor. So like that processor do. And along with that one, there is a programming devices. Here is a programming and the data memory. All the instructions, all the registers, everything is sitting here and the data is there. So this memory and the memory consisting of programs as well as data communicate with the processor. And also there is a programming device, maybe the external middleware, maybe it is supporting to this particular processor using this program and data memory. And there is a networking. This is a communication interface. If you are having a, say, Wi-Fi or internet, so this communication device will be communicating. So, and a main supply, it is given to the power supply, external 230 volt, giving to the power supply, it is producing a DC supply, giving support to everything. So this is how the computer architecture is look like. And its management is also based on the things what we discussed over here. All this activity is carried out here. So that is what we have to keep it in your mind. Now, another area what we are seeing here is that input devices. Now, these input devices is consisting of some of the components: keyboard, mouse, trackball, space ball, joystick, voice recognition, image scanner, touch screen, digitizer, light pen, your USB. All these things are coming under the input devices. So all the input devices you can put under these categories. So these every devices, when you are connecting to the computer is going to every devices is not having the same protocol. So every devices, when you are connecting to this computer systems, then it is connecting through the particular driver, and the driver will try to interface with the CPU and make connections of the input device to the processor. And there how the next set of activity what we have discussed above follows up. This is a DMA. You have already studied direct memory access. Direct memory access consists of what? It consists of following parts. One is nothing but a data count, data registers, address register, control logic. As I have told to you, all that different type of a register, general purpose control, all that registers comes under here. Data registers is there, address register is there. Address register is one segment. This is nothing. When we talk about a data registers, what is exactly data register? You have, as we have seen in the module 4, we are having a page number and page size. So when we talk about that size, everything is sitting here. Page number is sitting here. So all these thing is handled based on the number of instructions. So that is how data count. And the control register is there, which do a DMA request, DMA acknowledge, then interrupt, read and write. All this thing is a part of a DMA. So here, this is a DMA block diagram. So a CPU gives the power to the DMA. You do all this. I have CPU give all these things to DMA so that the DMA based on all these things do the work of a CPU. That's why we say CPU relinquishes that task to the DMA. Now, if you see the block diagram of a DMA consisting of based on this, the DMA block diagram is being, this is a flow diagram. I put it as a flow block diagram. This is a CPU, this is a DMA, this is a secondary memory, this is a primary memory, and this is a buffer. So time being, you have to understand that buffer is just like a storage device for, and it is in the RAM. Buffer is where? In the RAM. But here what is buffer? See, buffer means what? For example, now because of the COVID-19, everything is standstill. So under that situation, so, in your house, if a food stuff is there, so you maintain a buffer. Certain food things or the basic requirement, you are storing it. So that is buffer. As per the need, you are utilizing it. So that's the buffer. Not that you are directly using from the main storeroom everything. You keep it in a small in a particular jar, and thereby you are utilizing. It is in the same way this particular buffer activity is that one. So here what is happening? The CPU, the first part is a CPU. Now the CPU is first going to program, and in that program it is going to state about the different registers, and every registers, what are the activities that of that register it has to do. That is clearly stating in the case of in this particular case. So CPU first writes the program and mention to the DMA controller. So what are the address is there, and count is given, and the control. What are the control activities is the CPU is going to give. Based on that control activity, the CPU is telling the DMA, you use that particular control activity and start working. Now, if you see the control is this one. These are nothing but the control activities. Now, once this program is written for the DMA control, now what DMA do, it has got address bus, it has got data bus, it based on that, it has an instruction register, everything is there, and based on that, whatever the data it has to flow or to retrieve, all these things that controls is there. Based on that, it will give a request to the memory to transfer a certain amount of a data. So if the suppose from this drive this data has to transfer. So you know that in the model 4 what we talked, every computational computations is done between the primary memory and the CPU, and every executions of the data transfer, if it has to store, automatically it knows where it has to store. It will go to the drive straightway, but when it has to perform, it will perform it accordingly. Now we will see this one is that in this case what happens, from every time the disk controller will see that whether in the buffer anything is there or not. If any data is there, from this buffer the data is taken and it is transferred to the main memory. So who is doing the disk controller is doing that, getting the data, and it is from the internal buffer, and it sends to the. Now once it's sent to this one, and if everything is transferred, so that means it has written to into the main memory. After that, the disk controller will know that okay, that work is executed. Then it will acknowledge the DMA. Once it is acknowledged that DMA, this is nothing but a handshaking. Handshaking means if this is from here to here, request, then clear to send, data transfer, acknowledge. Other than the meaning actually parnya. If this is A and this is B, sender receiver. If that is the case, request, clear to send, data transfer, acknowledge. But here I am talking just acknowledge here. So this acknowledges to DMA that everything is over. Then DMA, what will it will, if the CPU is doing some work, it will interrupt and convey that when the work is over. Why it is interrupting? So that CPU can be ready to give some other activities to DMA, so that the CPU will not go into a sleep mode. Rather, CPU will be CPU utilizations can be improved, and moreover, its efficiency can be improvised. So that's what take place in this particular point of a discussions. So. So these are the points of a discussion with respect to DMA. Now we have to go to the device driver. Now to understand this device driver, you have to understand what is driver. What is a driver? The driver is something that can be associated to the to the any applications, so that applications can be able to run as per the need of the CPU, or you can say that the driver can able to make an interface between the output device as well as the CPU. So if you try to remember this figure, kernel mode, user mode that we discussed. User mode is nothing but the upper part, application and user. Kernel mode is nothing but the central part of the operating system, which is that means kernel mode has a device driver, and that device driver's bottom side is nothing but a CPU. Here CPU sits. So this application is interacting with the CPU. How? Through the user driver and the device driver. So every device driver should be there inside this one. And depending on the device driver, if any user driver, whenever you are taking, say for example, you are taking one a new USB, the moment you connect the USB, it will try to run. So automatically it will try to load that particular device and that driver. And inside this, there is a device driver. Whether this device driver is configured to the user drivers or not. If it is not configured, then it will not accept. Say for example, you are having a computer system and it does not have a driver of a USB, and you are taken one USB and connecting to some pin. So before you are connecting, even if that USB having a driver, it will not run, because this device driver itself is not there in that particular configurations of that particular program sections of the C drive. So that's why both are very important, user mode and the kernel mode, user driver. So driver basic function is to interact with the user mode with the through the kernel to the computer system. So if you go across to the my note in the drivers, in the page number 144, 145 or 144, there I have mentioned about the drivers. What is a driver? Driver is a software component that let operating system and device to communicate with each other, and the driver communicate with the device hardware to get the data. That is what a device driver is there. And after the driver get the data from the device, it return the data to the operating system, and which it return to the application. That means all the communication is taking place through the drivers only. So that is how that particular. Now you come to the bottom side, what is written? A device driver perform following jobs. What are the jobs? To accept the request from the device, independent software above it. That means device driver is a separate software. It is not an operating system. That you have to keep it in your mind. It interact with the device controller to take and give the input output and perform a request, require error handling. That means all the requests, it is passing through the device controller. That is what we have seen here. If you see the DMA case, the DMA controller is doing that activities just like a device driver in this case scenario, and making sure that the request is executable. So whatever you are giving in the input, that should be executable. Protocol should satisfy. And if you see the block diagram, user mode is there, kernel mode is there, hardware is there in my that notebook, where user mode is these sections where you are having a input output library, and kernel mode is nothing but your device driver is there, and the device independent input output, that section is there. And when you talk about hardware, you are having a device controller and followed by the CPU printer, CPU input output and the memory. So that is what been put across this one, and followed by the other devices like a printer, disk, etc. So this is what we talk. Now here you see what the device driver task. Device driver task is to accept the request, check the input, translate to the input has to be translated to the form of that the language where what the internal device drive internal hard CPU section is going to handle, and it will verify that device whether it is compatible with the protocol of the driver or not. If it is not, it will issue instructions. Otherwise, it will block it. If there is an error, then it will correct the error and instruct it back. So these are nothing but the device driver task. And here, this is a simple program. Is that it is that in the just like I have shown in the DMA buffer is that in the device driver also scenario, if a buffer is there. Interrupt means whenever any device is connected, it will be interrupting, and it will say, for example, printer is one you are connecting. So this flag will be in the ready state. So data register will be having a initial value 0. This value will keep on changing as that data keeps on coming. After that, once it is once that buffer is full, then it will try to execute it out. And once it is executed, again, the next interrupt of will be this. It will acknowledge for the interrupt because it has enable interrupt here. So this is how this particular things will follow. So here in this section, all the device drivers program will be running and acknowledge the interrupt. Then it is returning back. So this is a device driver interrupt. So basically, at this point, you have to understand that the point of a device driver is somehow like, again, there is another figure is the user program, operating systems, all the printer, camcode, CD-RAM, all this thing is a driver which is inside this kernel space, and operating system is there, printer controller, camcorder controller. This is a controller, that is a hardware, and devices. So when you are connecting, this is a printer. If suppose a USB port is there, so that particular port is compatible for this printer, or you are connecting this camcode to that USB port. So that is what it is mean with respect to the hardware. So if you are having a CD, then you are having a CD driver. So that is a hardware. So that is how it needed a driver, it needed operating system, kernel, and that's how it will support the user program. And here there is one more figure is the device independent and input output software. This is operating systems. Operating systems with the proper driver, you will be getting a representation like that one. A operating system with a little improper device driver. So it will be something like a peak a symbol that is being shown over here. So that means a fitting, but here everything will be in a balanced fitting. So these are nothing but a point which is related to the